Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and this is my weekend review, and going to be talking about some shows that I streamed or watched through my Netflix DVD service, and then the shows that I watched over the past week. Kind of getting the gist of the drill with this probably about a month or two of me doing these videos now, so now let's get down to it. So I watched 3 films. I got to watch Shadow on Netflix DVD, which is a Chinese film that came out in 2019 from the director of Hero and House of Flying Daggers, and I saw this on Chris Stuckman's top 10 list. I'm like, okay, I want to check this out. It is an exhilarating film experience, and it's absolutely breathtaking and beautiful. It really deals with so many shades of gray in its cinematography, the lighting, the color palettes. It's so visually striking. And then it's a powerful film with a lot of tension, awesome action sequences, and some poignant drama. And it's definitely something that I would recommend. Now, I also watched Black 47 on Showtime. And I have Showtime through Amazon. And this is a period drama centered around Irish rebellion against the British Empire. And it's about this one man trying to get revenge against the British, and this young man who's rebelling is chased by British officers, but also an Irishman played by Hugo Weaving. And it's grim, it's gritty, and it's really impactful. It tries to do a lot crammed into this one film. It has a lot to say about a lot of different kinds of things like classism, the idea of ruling over another country, and Irish freedom. And it has a very strong cast with some really superb performances. Stephen Rea is in there, Jim Broadbent, Hugo Weaving. And it's something that is really worth the time. It's a powerful film. It's really raw. And something I appreciated with the action sequences like shootouts and stuff like that. Guns misfire, all these different kinds of things. It's not like an overly glossed action movie. It's gritty, it's rough. Mistakes happen, and it's very human, and I really appreciated about this film. Then I watched The Fanatic on Amazon, and this was the Fred Durst film, the guy from Limp Bizkit, starring John Travolta as this crazed fan of a horror movie actor. And this film made me feel a lot of feelings, and most of them were negative. It was alright. It's like, in terms of, you can sit and watch it. It's not something that, like, as much cringeworthy as something like The Room, which is so poorly put together. This is not great. It's not well put together, but it's not like a complete shit show. And John Travolta's performance as this, obviously a character with some kind of social disorders, he definitely seems like he's supposed to be on the autism spectrum, and his performance just feels like a caricature. And it's obnoxious, it's over the top, and honestly kind of offensive. And, like, you can tell John Travolta's really trying, but the plot's derivative, there's nobody really latch onto, and there's these characters that are obnoxiously sympathetic to him as he's doing these really uncomfortable, terrible, and illegal things, and then the guy you're supposed to be afraid for is a complete shitbag, honestly, and honestly, it's really hard to connect to this film. Definitely wouldn't recommend it. Now, talking about all the shows that I watched, I've watched the 4th and final season of The Man in the High Castle. And overall, it was a really powerful season, really well done. The death of the main Japanese actor between seasons caused a lot of issues, and focus was moved towards the other captain in the Japanese military, which he had a lot of interesting shades of gray, and I really appreciated what they did with his character throughout this season. And then John Smith got so much more interesting, they did so much more, they played really into the sci-fi elements of time travel and different dimensions, and I really appreciated that. I thought that was really cool. They had some cool elements with John Smith's family, and his wife got a lot more to do. But the main female character of this film and the show felt kind of lost. And towards the end, it's like I didn't feel super connected with her anymore. And they really tried to push this subplot about a black separatist group trying to fight for their freedom because they've been oppressed by everyone. And it felt so ham-fisted in and didn't get a whole lot to breathe in this final jam-packed season. I felt like if they were doing it from the beginning, it would have had more payoff, but it really didn't. And there's some very interesting and intriguing twists in this season. The last episode felt a little anticlimactic and does leave a lot of questions open. But I'm interested in some of those questions and definitely want to think about it more. I watched the Dracula series on Netflix, which I believe started as a BBC series. I really appreciate how ambitious and in a different direction this went. The first two of the three episodes I actually really, really liked. They're literally a little bloated. I don't think they needed to each be an hour and a half episode, but they went in a different direction. The actor who played Dracula was really charming and charismatic and brought a lot to it. And then Abigail Van Helsing, turn on that, she was great in this show. The last episode makes a very ambitious leap, and it doesn't quite stick the landing. And I felt like just the first two episodes, it was a pretty great show. And then the last leg of it felt a little underwhelming. Then I watched the last two episodes of My Hero Academia, and things are really coming to a head in this last episode. Got really intense, and Deku really gets an awesome point to really showcase in this episode. And the confrontation between him and the main antagonist from the Yakuza in this season so far really comes to a head. And I thought that was really cool. I appreciated the action that went on. Jeff Goldblum had hit the past two episodes I got to take a look at. Like, the most recent one was about cosmetics, which I thought was very interesting because it gives an interesting perspective on the fact that so many people, actors, people on TV are always in makeup. Obviously, most women are in a lot of makeup, and it showed a lot of men who wear daily makeup. And also showed cosmetics as an art form, and there's a lot of different kinds of things you saw in this episode. I've been watching The Golden Girls with my girlfriend, and we finished the first season of Golden Girls, and it's just so funny. It feels a little awkward sometimes where it feels really stage sitcom comedy, but like the actresses in this are all firing on all cylinders, and they're absolutely hilarious and so snarky and fun, and it's just a blast to watch. I watched the first season of The Mighty Boosh, and this is such a crazy, weird show, and I could see where these guys went into the IT crowd, some of the actors in this. And it's just like a crazy, goofy, fun time. You definitely tell these guys were probably high making this, but it's a fun time. And I watched the first season of the only series of the actual Mr. Bean show, which Rowan Atkinson is such an amazing physical comedian, and he does so many great skits in this and just really sells it. And like the one where he gets his hair cut, or he's at like a dog show, which is ridiculous because he puts his teddy bear in it. And all these different kinds of things, and just how he interacts with the environment and other people is so great. Him staying at a hotel, getting locked out nude, or him trying to get down the steps and following or getting trapped by old people on the steps. All these different kinds of things. The most recent episode of Servant really hit hard because this was really centered around the wife, and you got to see, like, it finally revealed what happened to Jericho, this child from the beginning who's dead, and replaced by a doll, and then replaced by an actual child. And this episode really hit emotionally because you get that backstory, and it opens up so much about the relationship between the wife and the husband in this show. And I'm really excited for the last episode. And now my favorite thing to talk about from this week is The Good Place. Because The Good Place is back for only a couple more episodes, but this was a hilarious episode. It drove forward. It showed a lot of growth, especially for Chidi. And it had a lot of great moments in terms of Michael and him interacting with Sean, the main devil in hell. And the judge, played by Maya Rudolph, is absolutely hilarious. And it sets up a very intriguing last couple episodes of this show, and I can't wait to see where things go because I absolutely love this show. I'm sad that it's leaving. But that's my week in review. Want to comment about any of these movies that I watch or any of the shows and chat about them? Leave a comment below. But thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.